that means it's something totally different now because of one of our TMs. It's fine. Usually it's not fine.
It's always fine. What's the worst that could happen?
I even
Hello
made
out
an
there,
emoji
internet.
for it.
It's Saturday night. It's time for some more Dungeons and Dragons fun here with our challenge accepted crew. How are all of you doing on the lovely cast? It's been a week.
Good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's been a good week.
Yeah.
All
Ready to
right.
get back into it.
That's always a good thing. Yeah, it's been an interesting few days. Some people have a little more interesting stories than others, but you know, that's the way life is. So, how is everyone out there in the chat doing? Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hope you enjoyed tonight's session as well as you've enjoyed the previous sessions. If you're enjoying this, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and hit the little bell notification. You can be notified when more videos come out. I said this earlier for Shadow Watch. I'm going to say it again here. Once we hit 100 subscribers, we are going to start doing giveaways during the streams. So, by all means, please share this out. I've got a pile of stuff from Mythal Armory I am dying to give away, and I'll be happy to give it away during the streams once we hit that little threshold that we need to hit. So, again, like, subscribe, hit the little bell, share it out on your social medias. Feed the YouTube algorithm because it's hungry. And I don't think chocolate works on it like we tried to think chocolate will work on Aberrant.
Yeah, the chocolate and the sundaes just don't seem to work as well as we'd like them to. Now, saying happy birthday on her birthday, though, that really worked the one day.
Oh, wow. She has a birthday? I thought she was
Apparently.
born.
One of the days on the very first season of Realmsmith's Discord in Darktoe, there was like 5 or more nat ones within like the first 3 hours. And we're like, what is going on? So I joked, it must be her birthday. So I said, happy birthday, Avray. And as soon as I did, we got like 3 or 4 nat 20s.
Uh-huh.
We're like, apparently that's what it was.
I believe that is what they call a coincidence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's totally a coincidence, but it was so much fun.
Seems like it.
Mhm.
Couple of quick scheduling notes. First off, want to give a shout out and a thank you to Streambeats first, because that's where we're listening to right now. Go to streambeats.com to check out DRM free music you can use for your videos and streams. Buttons want to work? No, the buttons don't want to work, so we will do this manually. And next we will give a switch over to Sirenscape and give a shout out and a praise to Sirenscape. A collection of background musics and soundboards you can use for your tabletop experience, whether it's around the table or across calls. There's a lot of opportunities there. So go to sirenscape.com to check out more of what they can do. Couple of the scheduling things. Tomorrow morning, Sunday with Scoob, 12 noon here on this channel, doing some painting and just kind of hanging out. I have a Discord channel that's open for any of my cast members to jump in and want to chit chat about sessions, D&D stuff, or just whatever's going on the day. So it's open to select Patreon tiers if you're a Patreon, as well as my moderators and whatnot can all join in, and we can just chit chat while I work on miniatures. I had a request last week after I finished the Ogre Zombie to do a dragon. Unfortunately, I do not have any dragon miniatures at this time, so I cannot paint a dragon tomorrow. That is something I'm looking to remedying at a future date. Unfortunately, it is not today.
You could paint an invisible dragon.
And that seems kind of easy, so... But there is a dragon miniature I would love to paint, but on the same token, I'm glad I can't paint it just yet. And that is, if anyone's not aware, WizKids announced a new miniature that is being released in September. It is a scale model of Tiamat.
Oh my god.
It's a bigature.
And I say this, it is scaled for actual use on your table. Full Tiamat. This miniature is like between 15 and 18 inches long.
Wow.
So picture that for your tabletop.
How do they keep it from not falling over with the heads?
It's her whole body, all
Oh
four
my
limb,
God.
big dragon body, and her 5
Oh,
heads.
nice.
And it
Woo.
looks amazing. Go to WizKids.com. Go to WizKids website to take a look at that. It pre-orders available now. I think it's retailing for just under $400.
Whoa.
Wow.
But
It's worth
it's a
the
really cool
plastic.
miniature. So if you're a miniature fan and have the room, by all means.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope to get dragons in the near future and work on painting them because that's what we do. But I'm thinking I'm actually going to go back to the Warhammer 40k. I've got a slew of Dark Angels that need their bolter rifles done and some other things. So I will probably work on Warhammer 40k miniatures tomorrow morning. Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern is Scuba and the Rye, our weekly podcast where we're talking about games, movies, and all kinds of other shenanigans. Tune in here on this channel on Tuesday to see what we talk about. I believe we're going to chat. We owe a conversation to Godzilla versus Kong, as well as our thoughts on our continuing conversation on all things Snyder Cut and Falcon Winter Soldier. Haven't checked those out? Please check them out. They're worth the watch. Especially this last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, Scoob, just for you, I went and watched Godzilla versus Kong in the theater with my son, just because I was thinking of you the whole time. So
I watched it twice already on HBO Max, once with my family and then once with a friend of mine who's a big kaiju fan. He came over and it was like, we could watch the second half of the Snyder Cut or we could watch Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong. And he was like, do it. Do it.
I made myself not watch on HBO Max just so I could see it in the theater for the first time because
Rye saw it on IMAX, so it'll be interesting to have the discussion on the IMAX experience versus the home experience.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So,
I like most kaiju.
And of course, Saturday afternoons, 1 p.m. Eastern, is Shadow Watch. There will be no Shadow Watch episode next week as I have an appointment at the DMV. And as I'm sure we all know, that is such a wonderful experience. I cannot be more excited.
Make sure you're not being scried on, Stu.
Yeah, but we have a bunch of stuff we need to get done. My son's going to try his driver's test again. I'm going to try and get my real ID, and we're going to register a car. And with all this COVID, having to schedule appointments, we scheduled this DMV appointment, I believe, sometime mid-February.
Wow.
And this was the date we could get. It was next Saturday.
This is why I like small towns. I can literally just go and do it right then.
Well, I would love to, but unfortunately it's, the whole lockdown and limited things. And it was like,
I'm surprised they're doing it on a Saturday.
Say that again?
I'm surprised they're doing it on a Saturday.
I don't know. It's 8:40 in the morning. So it's like, get that done and then we'll go from there. So we'll see what happens. But so next Saturday, normally Saturdays with Shadow Watch. Next Saturday was no Shadow Watch because of prior appointment, but challenge accepted is still challenge accepted. We are still doing our thing. So let's do our thing.
All right.
Okay, so alrighty. So previously here on Challenge Accepted, the party had taken the injured rider. They had helped out back to was attempting to take him toward the next farmstead he was heading to before he was so inconveniently killed and then brought back to life and then lost his horse. But they found the horse, renamed the horse, and then started making their way to Leland with a stop over at the farmstead that the rider was coming from. They arrived at this farmstead and saw that it suffered an attack from giants. There was a young elf girl who was tending to her parents who were gravely injured. So the party, being the kind-hearted, good doers that they are, went in, brightened the little girl's spirits, danced the fine line with the weave, came out unscathed, and managed to also provide some much needed critical healing to the parents so that they both regain consciousness and started to be on the mend. After that, the party was debating on what to do. They didn't want to leave the family there in such a condition, but they also wanted to get word to the nearby city of Leland to help them out. Decided to load them up on the cart and very carefully take them to the town, where once they got to the town, cleric of Palor, an orc named Tusk, managed to get them over into the temple and to work on providing some healing. In doing so, they also found out that Tusk happens to run the local adventuring guild, taking up residency. The party met a few other interesting characters and learned some interesting information about the region, and had taken up rooms and decided to crash for the night, get some much needed rest. Now they're kind of milling about the city, the town, which is currently in the process of being rebuilt after being nearly destroyed and abandoned for a number of years. And now they are deciding where to go. There's still some discussion about going to Salt Marsh to continue that series of investigations, as well as some other interesting going-ons in the region. So that is where we'll come in. Quick little admin note. If you're watching the stream and want to help and impact the stream, you can certainly do that. Look in the description below for a list of options to influence the stream. There is one caveat based on last week's interesting developments. And that is, while I want to encourage and appreciate all of the support you guys are doing, it's awesome and amazing. There are some points where certain things like wild magic, which the tricksters seem to be a propensity of imparting as wonderful gifts that keep on giving to the parties, start executing a little executive fiat and discretion, and hold those off if they're at a particularly crucial narrative moment, because we don't want to inadvertently have a wild magic when you're trying to help somebody who's endured a great loss and inadvertently cause a fireball right
now. I'll get claimed for
it. So
yes,
thankfully I will tell you that did not happen last week. You managed to skirt the line quite a bit, but but we're just gonna, now that we've seen that ledge, looked into that abyss, we're gonna back off the ledge just a little. Just a little bit. So, following morning, you guys have all taken a long rest. You're all doing fairly well. How would you like to spend the day? We will start with Pearl. How would you like to spend your day in Leland?
Well, I mean, first of all, she'd do her normal routine of, like, doing her martial arts in the morning, and then since we're in like a little taverny thingy, she would do her little mixture that she figured out, where it's like the half coffee, half milk thing that she made. Yeah, she'll do that.
You get a couple of strange looks from a couple of the servers, as it's like the one who brings you the stuff, and then you can tell they're kind of like, one of them's like, what? As you see in there doing this whole making your morning drink.
Is it a drink or is it in a sauce? But never mind.
Well, I mean, one can argue that a cup is a saucer. It's just really deep.
True.
Yeah.
Those darn deep saucers.
But yeah,
it's better than the unidentified flying ones. But that's a whole nother
that's true. Barrier peaks.
All right, so
yeah. Otherwise, for the rest of the day, I'd probably just hang out with one of the other party members or something for the rest of the day.
Okay. Do you head down into the common room, are having your morning coffee, working it out? You notice that this particular blend of coffee is a little bit stronger than what you tasted when you went to Paradon. Definitely the beans are a little bit different. You can definitely tell that.
Mm-hmm.
You got a little bit more of a bitter bite to it, but it's actually kind of refreshing.
Interesting.
All right. Next up, we will talk with Titus. How does Titus get up and start his day in this new little town?
Okay. Titus dons all of his armaments, gear, shield, everything. and we'll spend a few quiet moments in meditation, thinking about all the things that has occurred the last several days. After he concludes that, he will walk down into the common area, see Pearl drinking this concoction that he's seen her drink before, and very quickly, subtly leave the common area.
Oh, I forgot.
okay.
Do I see him wander off?
No, I want to see how this plays out. All right, you're trying to do this the slyly, right?
Mhm.
So roll a stealth check.
Remember, he has his armor on.
I know. He should know that. Pearl, what is your passive perception?
My passive perception is 14.
Okay.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. The first roll was a nat 20. Second one was an 8 plus 1 is a 9.
So as you come down and you see Pearl, you think you have your moment. And as you go, you kick a chair. And Pearl, you see Pearl's ear twitch.
Yep.
And you just
Like, okay.
Pearl
well,
didn't see you per se, but she knew she knows that armor. She knows when you stubbed your leg, you let out a little, and she's like,
Yeah. I totally ran for the hills after that.
and as she turns to look, she sees your back as you walk out the door.
Yeah. But I would spend the better part of the day talking with Tusk.
Okay.
The cleric. He was the cleric of Palor.
Yes, he's a cleric of Palor.
And head of the adventure.
Early in the day, you would go to the temple and see that he's there, kind of talking with a couple of people. As you walk up, says, "What can I do for you?"
I'm just trying to lay the land and learn a little bit more about this place. I figured you would be the one that I could speak with.
It depends. I do my best.
I hear you're head of the adventuring guild that meets here.
Yeah, I'm the I do that as kind of a side thing. I used to be an adventurer, and no, I didn't take an arrow to the knee, if that's what you're thinking. But I felt my calling to pay to the Dawn Father being far more.
How is it that you've come to take this role? It's rather peculiar for one such as yourself, right?
Oh, as long as you embrace the light and are willing to bring the light, it doesn't matter your race.
You're speaking my language, friend. I too am one supporting the light, protecting it. Tell me, is there something that you sense a great urgency that needs to be addressed, a calamity to be prevented, a darkness to be enlightened?
There's always some darkness. There's always some calamity. It's just the way of the world. Every time you defeat one major problem, another one crops up. Sometimes, but thankfully the Dawn Father finds a way to impede those that that are destined to fail. So it's all a matter of the path we go. Now, if you're looking for a path to follow, there are a number open, as always. However, I believe to the west is a need for some change. There's some rumblings in the west that could probably use some addressing.
Do you speak of Saltmarsh?
Saltmarsh is nearby, but I'm speaking more of the Mire. The Mire is... There are a lot of reports of some unrest. No, normally the Mire is a dark place with undead and other creatures that are there. But rumors have been floating up of a lizard folk community that has taken residence. The lizard folk are not uncommon in the mire, but it seems they're more prevalent of late. Not quite sure what is going on, but the things are not things are worth investigating. Not
What
sure what it could be, but I've been I've heard word that it could be worth an investigation.
if lizard folk in and of themselves are innocent enough, why is their congregation in this place such a troubling matter?
Not so much the congregation per se, more like its potential influence in the local area. People to most some races, as he kind of takes a moment to kind of give you a look, and some feel that because the reputations precede intent. Lizard folk can be a bit frustrating to deal with at times, but the fact that they're congregating and there's a major trade road after so much work has been put forth by the Lord's Alliance to make it secure, to improve its security, we must people would get a little nervous if a colony of lizard folk had established permanent residency in the marsh. Normally, they've only been seen in small groups, but if there is a village or colony forming in the marsh, then their intentions must be understood so that we can properly contain any potential violence.
I understand. Well, thank you for bringing this to my attention. We've traveled the roads here recently and certainly found our fair share of trouble, though there are still some kind, albeit perhaps not entirely innocent people that we've come across. A man in a caravan, rather ornately dressed. I believe his name was Nebazeth or Nezabeth. Have you heard of him?
Takes a moment. No. Don't believe I know someone by that name. But no, I can't say that I've ever heard of someone named that.
Normally, I would incite that, but given he is a cleric of the Palor, speaking of the light, I trust it at face value. And I ask, is there anything else you could tell us about this mire that could help us along our way?
The mire?
Yes.
It's long ago there was an ancient battle there, and many of the fallen are there. So there's been signs of undead. It's a swamp, so there are many creatures there. I would be wary though. Much of the swamp is unexplored. At least in the last few, in a great long while, has anyone truly mapped it. All maps of the area stop at a certain point, and you see the level of detail and understanding of the mire fade over the centuries. But be careful. Many things can dwell in the swamp such as this. Many things could find refuge in a place that people fear to go.
You've been so helpful. I can't express my gratitude. And it's also great to meet one of similar mindset for protecting and preserving the light and expressing it, lifting it up. I wonder, would there be anyone closer to the mire that we might connect with that you could potentially vouch for to help us along our way, or is it really more desolate out that way?
I'm afraid I don't have many contacts in the city in Saltmarsh, which is probably the closest major settlement to the mire that you can go to. There's a couple. There's another town a little to the south, but that's mainly run by dwarves. And for some reason, dwarves don't take kindly to talking to people.
Mm. Well, you've been quite pleasant.
Glad I could provide some insight for you.
Yes. Well, thank you, and I will let you continue your duties and your prayers this morning.
Thank you. Oh, and I'm sure you'll be pleased to know that the family that you brought are doing much better. Their injuries will be nothing more than a bad memory very soon.
Yes.
And then they can start the process of rebuilding, which, due to his grandfather's reputation, many will be eager to help get them back up and going.
Yes. Well, that's wonderful news. And I must say, I may be a little biased, but the young girl, she has strength and courage well beyond her years. She will go far.
Yes. She has. I imagine she'll be quite the handful in the decades to come.
Yes, well, that's tomorrow's problem, isn't it?
Yes, tomorrow's problem, because they are long-lived, and it's not ours. And he laughs and gives you a smile.
And Titus will bow and then head back towards the inn, where I'm sure, will meet a very hyped up Pearl.
He returned your nod. He returned your bow, and then with a nod, and turns to continue his morning activity. So while you're doing that, Nin, how does Nin start his day in the city?
Well, first of all, what inn are we at? Are we at the rum well inn above there?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So Nin's gonna wake up and stretch and look down at his being, saying, "Why am I wearing a dress?" And then he's like, "Oh yes, I forgot. I'm supposed to be Sophie. So Sophie's got to put on the makeup and everything else, and before she comes down the stairs." And so he does that, and making sure that he's got all of his robes and packs and spell ingredients and the crossbow and everything else with him. And he comes stumbling down until he reaches the second flight of stairs. And then he's, "Oh, heavens! I don't know if I can make it the last couple steps." "Let me try." And then he'll kind of stumble down the stairs as if he were a little bit hungover or drunk.
Is this an act?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll a performance check.
Performance check. Gotcha. Performance. Well, that's only an 11.
You think you're doing a really good job of selling it. Unfortunately, most people in the room are not buying it.
Hell.
And as you get down the last bit of stairs, you look over to the bar and you see that dwarf who gave you the drink yesterday. Goes, "Dearie, do you want another?"
"Oh, hello, Tabitha. I believe that a good soul should not drink before noon, at least to maintain their goodness."
Well, it looks like you might need one to steady yourself. I mean, those stairs could be pretty tricky if you're sober.
Yes, exactly. But I'm a bit delicate. I've gone over the years of firmitude of a she-elf that I am.
All right. Well,
So
change
my
your
legs
mind.
are a
Just
little
let me
bit
know.
wobbly, but I'm good.
Well, change your mind. Let me know.
Yeah.
Is there something you would
Hello.
like this morning?
Actually, can you point me to a place I can take some target practice with my crossbow? In town or outskirts of town?
Yeah. City guard like to practice up on the eastern side. There's a bit of a target range there into the tree line if you want.
Excellent.
She
How
gives
far is
she gives you
that?
directions and points you on your way.
Okay, I think I see at least Pearl there. I'm not sure if Titus is back yet or not. Right,
No, Titus isn't back yet. He's gotten into quite the conversation. But you're not aware of. But you see Pearl sitting there, kind of putting her drink together. She's kind of focusing on that.
all right. I'm going to wave at Pearl and say, "Good morning, Pearl, darling. How are you?"
I'm great. I'm making my drink. See?
Oh, wow. You think I could try to help you with that?
Oh, I have an exact way I like to do it. But if you want to try my drink, I could make one for you too. Yeah.
Okay, maybe when I come back. I was just trying to get the kinks out of my fingers for some cantrip that I know.
Okay.
It would make your milk really frothy, though. You're sure you don't want to go?
Maybe after I drink my drink.
Okay. All right, I'm going out to the target range. I'll
Okay.
see you a little later. And
Sounds
he's
good.
going to exit the bar, the rum well, and go.
You follow her
in the-
directions.
in the
Go ahead and give
direction,
me a
yeah.
quick survival check.
All right. Survival is not my greatest thing,
I know.
but today it's not too bad. 14.
You get a little turned about in the town, but you do manage to find where it is. And as you get out there, you see a couple of the a couple of the town militia, so to speak, are they're practicing with their crossbows as you walk up. One of them kind of stops and looks to you, is like, "Can I help you, miss?"
Oh, I'm sure you can, my young man. Could you tell me, am I able to take practice with my crossbow here as you are? Because, an elderly woman such as myself shouldn't be without defense.
He raises an eyebrow, and you take a look that it's a full-blood elf standing there. He goes, "No, it's perfectly all right if you want to take a practice shot. Here, head over there," and points out a set of targets on the second to the last row on the end. You can stand there. The target's only about 20 feet from the line. That's typically where we have people just starting out.
Oh, very good, very good. Thank you, my dear.
You're
I love the shape of your ears. Let me go and try. And I'm going to line up my crossbow and take an aim. And if any of you were there, the elf guard is there. He would see Nim.
Oh, they're all watching. There's 3 of them there, the elf and 2 others. And they they're the elf is kind of supervising, kind of like your range master, as the other 2 are practicing. So he's kind of watching and seeing you line up your shot.
So he'll see Min kind of go and try to pull up the thing and say, "Shut up. I know I'm supposed to shoot straight. Just be quiet. Leave me alone." And he's going to let one fly, which doesn't actually catch on fire, so it's just a normal crossbow bolt.
Yeah. Then go ahead and give me an attack roll.
All right, I'm going to roll as my attack for crossbow. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Alrighty, you sink that bolt dead bullseye in that target. The the range master looks at you and goes, "Not bad for a first time."
Well, that's how we used to do it in the old days.
Well, the current challenge is 4 bullseyes in succession. You think you can do it?
I think I might be able to do it, but you know what? This shot didn't actually work. It was supposed to be on fire. But can I use the fire?
No, we
bolt?
kind of frown on that, considering fires can get out of control. But if you wanna meet the challenge, go ahead and step down to the next target, which is about 10 feet further away than the last one. And go ahead and take your next shot.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna step down, look at my feet, and look at the crossbow and say, "Okay, you impressed yet? Come on, let's do this." So he lines up and lets another bolt fly.
All right, go and roll for attack.
That's a dirty 20.
Yeah, this one you sink it right into the bullseye. It's a half-inch higher than the previous one, but it's still in that bullseye ring. All right. He also like 2 for 2. That's good. That's good. Go ahead and step down to this next one. And then the target's another 10 feet back. So 20, 30. Now this next target's 40 feet out.
All right. Okay, Sonny. Let's see if Grandma's got her luck back again. He's like, "No, I don't want to not try. I want to stay up here in the daylight. Here, try this." Shoots it off. Oh. That one's an 8.
Over the target.
Well, you saw I was distracted, didn't you?
The elf kind of shakes his head. Well, that's okay. You can continue to practice.
That's good. I can't try my firebolt though.
No, time not to have fire.
In
No,
the
we tend not to use magic on the range.
All right. Is there a place I can shoot off my magical weapon near the river or where the swamp or wherever it is we're at?
You can go into the tree line there, and you know, for far away from the city. We don't want any random accidents.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that's enough for today, at least, anyway. So, thank you very much. Puts the crossbow back. Thank you, dearie. I'll see you next time. What was your name, by the way? What's your good Elvish name?
You can just call you can call me Captain Leggles.
Captain. I think I've heard that name somewhere. My name is Selfie. Like filthy, but with the S.
Well, you have a good day, man.
Thank you. It's always good to meet a young, strapping captain. And I'll tap him on the shoulder, which isn't much stronger than a frail 6-year-old would tap you on. But he wanders back down into the town proper, I guess.
All right. Next, we'll check Karalee's day morning and how Karalee is starting the day.
Well, as usual, she'll just do her morning prayer to the face of the sun, all her normal stuff. And then after she's done with that, I'm going to go out to a shop for some. I needed a new healer's kit. Well, I mean,
Okay.
I have one. I have but I need a new one just in case because I'm almost out of the second one I have. So I'll go see if
there's a couple of shops that go. One of them doesn't have one and points you toward the larger kind of general store, and inside there you can find the healer's kit and just about anything else basic item wise you need. Not much in the way of weapons.
I will buy the stuff to refill up the healer's kit that I have. So now that I have 2 full ones. And then after I'm done with that, I'll buy a couple other things too that I'm going to click on. But then I will just while we're there, I'm just going to ask in the shop, hey, so you probably get a lot of traffic through here. Have you heard a lot about I heard rumors of a white dragon and of some bad stuff happening in the swamp around here. And of course, there's the giant attacks recently.
The individual manning the shop happens to be a Goliath. He stands there and looks at
I
you.
look up to him and say the same thing, but looking up is.
You look up, you see this Goliath kind of standing there, and yeah, there have been problems. There's a white dragon in the white dragon is over there near Fandolin. That place has had problems, but white dragon seems to have moved in a few months ago. Just kind of hovers about. Very rarely do we see it out this far. But I'm sure that may change depending on their mood, because dragons are fickle. As for the swamp, well, the swamp, there's always problems there. Meyer has bad history.
Now, do I know? Let's see here. Do I know much about Goliaths? I don't know if my character necessarily would.
Go ahead and roll a history check.
Okay. That's only a 6 total.
They're really big and they're really nomadic.
So then I make this assumption. So you look like a giant. So do you? How much do you know about the giants around lately? There's, I guess, some attacked some outlying villages. Do you know, or not villages, outlying farmsteads? Do you know much about their whereabouts? I heard they were somewhere in this region to the east. I kind of pull out my map and ask him knows any better. Just totally assuming that he knows about
Yeah,
giants.
there were some hill giants that lived out there, but the dragon displaced them, and so they're causing trouble here in the lowlands comparatively. I haven't seen storm giants in a while. They're raw pain. Stone giants, fire giants. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's been some giant activity lately, but the hill giants have been the main ones that have been causing trouble. Fire giants typically don't do anything as mundane as raid. Yeah, the hill giants have been causing more of a ruckus of late. I'm sure Tusk and his guild is gonna put together some kind of hunt party again to try and sort that out.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I hope that you have a good day. And we might be back getting more supplies. Thank you very much.
Well, if you need supplies, this is the place to find them.
Okay. Well, I'll buy that. Then after I'm done with that, I'll go by the temple or the shrine. I'll check on the family. I'm sure I heard the same thing that Titus heard, but I want to go by there and check on them and ask how they're doing. And then,
as you would come up right about the time that Titus is finishing his conversation with Tusk, and you hear the bit about the family is doing well. They're well on the mend. They should be. And you hear the bit about his grandfather being someone of a reputation to Tusk, and he's confident that people are going to come and help him and help the family get their homestead all put back together and get them back on their feet.
Well, then if Titus is there, I say. So I did a little talking with a couple more people. I know we talked about this last night, but I'm in the mood to either go hunt some giants or go take care of. Actually, I wouldn't have heard about the mire. That would be you, right? We heard that a long time ago. There was trouble in the mire. That was originally what we were set out to do. So, but if we want to continue on to the mire, I'm okay with that as well. What are you thinking?
Well, Tusk, he quite pointedly told me about the mire. Told me about this lizard folk community that had taken root, and seems to be troubling for those that use the nearby trade routes. I think it's quite unsettling and concerned about it. I asked him if there was any calamity needing prevented or darkness that needed to be enlightened, and he pointed me to the mire. So, as a fellow pursuer of the light, I would like to go there. Of course,
I'm gonna want to come down from the Tarprex and go see about the kid, the family too. So I don't know if I'd show up around this time or not.
You would probably show up given the distance, and you got a little lost the first time and target practice. You'd come up on them just as they're discussing the mire. Tusk has already walked back inside the temple, and you would have caught the tail end of what Titus was saying about going to the mire to investigate that.
Oh, hi, Titus, Karalee. Lovely day, isn't it?
Hello,
Selfie.
Sheila, selfie,
Selfie, yes.
Oh, selfie. Sorry, that I rolled a 3.
That's okay. His disguise isn't as convincing as it was.
I might need to add a little bit more blush. The sun does damage, does terrible things to cheeks. Anyway, did I hear the cleric Tusk talking about the mire?
in what?
You wouldn't have heard Tusk talking about it.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's just what Titus. Just the last thing Titus said is what you hear as you walk up.
You too. Did you check in on the family?
Yes,
Leghorns?
they're doing okay.
What needs more attention right now is whatever this is going on.
Titus, I'm trying to be disguised. I don't want him to know I'm a half elf. I mean,
I'm pretty sure the secret's out.
Did you say that? So Tuss said that he thought that the mire was more pressing than the giant problem. Titus?
He didn't even bring up the giant problem.
Oh, okay.
I asked him about what was a calamity needing prevented, and certainly the fact that we brought in 3 mostly dead people, or 2 mostly dead people, and a young child, that would be high on the list. But apparently the mire is more pressing at this time.
Well, maybe the mire is a more giant problem than the giant problem.
Yes, but still, do please, before we go too much further, you may want to deal with that giant problem too.
What is it? The eyes?
That giant problem is more pressing than the giant problem that's more pressing than the giant problem.
Yes, I feel like we're going into a... Never mind.
Did you guys get a chance to talk about anybody about the Black Network?
No, I didn't really touch on that.
I mean,
I think we should. I think we should go to this mire and then do this. And I think that being out of the main city might be beneficial to that problem as well, in the sense that we won't be around, and maybe we can lose any tell that we have.
Okay, that sounds smart. Yeah, not many bounty hunters are going to go into the mire.
Probably not.
If they get it easier here.
Yes, if they do follow us into the mire, well, they will have a lot more to deal with entering there.
Yeah, that's smart. Okay, I like it.
Let's go get Pearl and see if she's ready to go. When I left, she was drinking something that was making her hyper.
Yes, fair warning. If you didn't notice, I did, and I hastily made an escape. We will be going back to quite a frenzy, so prepare yourself.
I'm not sure that giving caffeine to her is the best idea, but oh well.
Don't worry, guys. If we get in there and the place is going on fire, I have a way to calm everything down.
By casting
my old elvish spell casting.
So I do have a question. Since I spent the time doing all this drink and stuff, I don't know how long it took them to do all the discussion, but would I have finished
Oh,
my drink before they got back?
oh,
Because if so, I'd probably wander off.
No, you're probably on. You're most likely on your third one. As they come walking in,
Cowards.
they see you sitting there, just kind of drinking that third. You guys see as you walk in, you see Pearl sitting there. She's got 2 empty cups, a pitcher, a little bit of spilled like cream on the table, and she is sitting there with a third one in her hand. And as you look to the bar, you see the dwarf on the bar drinking drinking a mug of ale.
Very quietly, I'm going to like put my hand back, like hold the rest of them back and say, "Get the wagon, get the wagon."
No, we walk backwards.
It's got one of those. You walk in, you see Pearl sitting there, and all that, and you see the dwarf actually. The bartender is actually on this side of the bar drinking the ale. She goes and sits and just kind of just starts chit chatting with Pearl, and you hear Pearl just speaking like a mile a minute.
Hey, Pearl, you want to come walk that off?
Oh yeah, you got the back. Yeah. Oh, let's go right there. Over here. Oh, that way. All right. Let's go.
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
Out loud. I say, we're gonna go, north over to this one place over there to visit one of those village outlying farmsteads.
Yay!
All right, north.
North.
That's what I say out loud, and then we walk back out the bar.
And as Pearl comes out and is ready to just turn north,
and I tug on her, and I'm like, south.
Oh, okay. Then you dart south.
And I say to Tabitha, "Thank you for watching my friend here." Yeah,
she is an absolute blast. I don't know why you guys seem so scared of her. I mean, this coffee thing she'd come up with is really nice. I was sitting there thinking I might just open up a breakfast line of drinks over there. I think it needs a little more kick, though.
Well, I'm sure Pearl, that's her name, can give you a good kick if you need it.
Oh no, she's fine. I'm thinking it needs a little more ale, a little more bite to go with that. So maybe
you know what?
Maybe like a coffee beer or something. It's a thing. I'm pondering. I got a couple of cousins in one of the citadels that might be able to help out with that.
That sounds great. Maybe it needs more foam. Here, let me show you. I use my control water to blast foamy effervescence into the beer or the coffee and probably exceed the amount I intended. Come on, have a drink, dearie.
Meanwhile,
she watches the mug kind of erupt. She looks up at you, lifts an eyebrow.
Old elvish recipe.
Let me show you a dwarvish one.
Throws the mug.
Gutbuster again. I couldn't handle
it. She kind of looks at she looks over at you and she goes, "Well, tell me something. Is that a ringing in your ears?" As she casts Toll the Dead and in your ears, you hear a set of gongs go off in your head.
Wow, that's a little too much for these big elf ears to handle. Please stop.
Well, next time, don't mess with a dwarf's drink.
Excellent point. Thank you for my lesson.
You're welcome, dearie.
You have a nice day, dear.
You too.
Going north.
So everybody had all their stuff, right? I thought I heard you guys say that.
Yeah, you just have to grab the wagon and the horses and the horse, which are stabled and up and whatnot. So you get them, grab your wagon. Is there any other supplies you guys wanted to get?
I need a
Only
little
thing-
more rouge.
Do we
What?
need the wagon, guys?
I need a little more rouge for my cheeks.
I did have one thing I wouldn't mind getting if it's okay with the party, and that's a paint set because I have proficiency in paint set. But that's up to you
Okay.
guys if that's okay or not.
Um,
And
if
this is really
Karalee
good.
tells you there's that
If she
general
mentions
store
it, I'll
with the
tell her about
Goliath running it,
Goliath.
you're able to pick up a paint set there.
Awesome, thank you.
Pretty much right out of whatever's PHP.
Mhm.
Then you can pick up what you need from the as you go to the Goliath kind of looks at you and you ask about the makeup and it's like, well, yeah, this one of those kits might do you some good, and points you to where there's another disguise kit.
Thank
Would
you
they-
very much, son.
Would they have healing potions?
Healing potions, no, but they would have healer's kits. Healing potions are typically made. There's typically made through an apothecary, and there is one in town. You could go and visit. She does have a couple of potions. Recent shipment from a windmill to the east, in between Linolin and Fandolin, who was. Tells you it's like, yeah, she was having a heck of a time making potions, but once her manticore issue got sorted out, she's been just doing pretty good with it. So she only has like about 4,
Mhm,
and they're at about 50 gold each.
mhm. I would just buy 2.
Okay, so it's 100
Like
gold
me.
for those 2 healing potions.
Mhm.
I will buy 2 as well.
Okay,
Like, how much of this money should I use? You know, I'm not used to the new coin of the realm.
I help him count out 100 gold of his money.
all right. So
Thank you. You're a doll, Karalee.
anything else you wish to purchase or prepare for before leaving town?
I already have 2, so I'm fine. Did you have any, Pearl?
Healing potions?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any, but I don't think I don't. But I don't have enough money to buy any, so that's why I hadn't asked.
You can have one of mine, darling.
Aw, thank you.
You're welcome. We got to keep our #1 scout all powered up.
So as we, if we're done here, as we walk out of town, as we start walking, how long are you going to keep this up? Because it's giving me a headache, Nin.
Well, just let me reapply some rouge here and make sure.
No, the voice.
Once we can't be heard by human ears.
Oh,
Sounds
when
like
when Karalee brings this up, you have left
Yeah.
the gate, and you're a few hundred feet away from the gate when Karalee starts this conversation in
You
the
mean
wagon.
this is not melodious to you like the birds in the trees?
All right, I am so close to karate chopping you in the throat.
Oh. Okay. I guess, is there anybody around us?
No.
All right. I can talk in my normal voice. How do you like it? Is that better? My throat was actually starting to hurt.
Yes, as were our ears.
The disguise kit was slipping a little bit there this morning, Nin.
Well, it was day number 2. They're not as fresh as the first day. I could have made it a little bit better, but I thought I'd get out and get some target practice. There was a really nice captain guy out there, Captain Legolas. That should be an interesting contact next time we're back in Leyland.
Yes. Just remember which disguise you used if we do come back.
Yes, I was Sylphie. Sylphie, the older elf wizard.
You're not even old. She wasn't old. She had a little girl.
No.
Also
My
for
gosh.
hundreds of years.
Anyway, I'm glad that the mughorns or maghorns fared well.
Sounds like
they're
they're
doing good.
sounds like they're well off, or at least
With
well known.
friends.
Yeah, well connected. I think they'll be okay. So Titus and I were talking, and we're gonna go to the Mire of the Deadman to handle a lizard. You know more
Mire,
about it.
Deadman, and Salt Marsh.
Yeah, you know more about it, Titus. You want to tell everybody? But I said we were going north to throw anybody off the scent if we.
That was brilliant.
Well, I figured we'd go after the dragon to stop the giants from being displaced. That way they won't be attacking anything anymore. But I'll follow you guys.
I was thinking that too, but Tusk, I guess, said that they're more pressing. The lizard, some lizard folk.
Okay.
It may have been that he thought his local adventuring party could handle the problem, and that these other matters in the mire and in Salt Marsh were a little bit too far out of their reach.
That's right. He would leave it to the professionals.
Well, I mean, we could always check in after we've gone to the mire to see if there's still a problem with the giants and dragon and stuff.
For sure.
Giants and dragons don't seem like they'll slip away too easily. So I think they'll be there.
Think it would be a good idea as we travel that we keep eyes all around. I suspect, even though clever it was to say we were going north, someone will likely try to follow us.
I'm sure.
That's right. Well, I'm gonna keep my keep my disguise on. If it's okay with you, I got a nice new sun hat.
Yes, just wear it low, real low.
I like it.
Well, and I mean, like the note that we found, Titus, didn't you say it listed all four of us? So even if you disguise yourself, then the rest of us look the same. So it's not going to be that big of a deal unless we all decide to do some sort of disguise.
I will not wear
You
rouge.
really didn't describe us so much. It just, well, other than that, our race.
So we'd have to like figure out a way to not look like our race, and it's kind of hard to hide the fur.
Yeah.
I can work on it for you. I mean, I can work on it for you.
I like my fur. I do not want to
You know,
shave it off.
I've got a clippers here.
No. She like darts off.
Besides, how many groups of a halfling, a tabaxi, and a human go around without their trusty half-helmet companion?
Well, the good news is they thought there was two halflings because May's, they must have obviously didn't know that we had split off from her yet. So maybe we'll be okay for a little bit anyway.
Another reason to praise Maze.
Wow.
So we head south, right? South to the Mire of Deadman.
West.
West first.
West. I lied.
Yeah.
West. It's even written right there. Sorry.
No, there's an actual it's a newer road. It's not quite as well traveled, but there is a road that can take you to Salt Marsh. Karalee, you're familiar with this road. You have walked it before a number of months ago.
So as soon as we were far enough out of the village, we'll turn west. That was my plan all along.
Did anyone tell Pearl we were going west? Last time I heard, we were going south, and she just darted. Oh, okay.
It's a double throw off. I said north. We started south. Now we're gonna go west. We're really messing with them.
And all the while we were heading east.
All along. So I rolled a 1 and some. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's kind of like those maps in video games. You start one direction, next thing you know, you did a whole circle.
Mm-hmm.
That's only because there's a fog of war. You got to clear it. That's the rule.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. You got to get all those little icons
dark
on the map.
No dark spots.
Alrighty, so the weather today is actually pretty good. The rain has stopped.
Yes.
It's a little overcast. But it's partly sunny. The weather is about normal for this time of year. Um, Roads are still there's still quite a bit of mud, some puddles and whatnot. So it hasn't completely dried off because, as you know, the rain most likely stopped sometime in the overnight. So it's just kind of that after after several days of rain, things are a bit soggy.
Is that going to be a problem for me while I'm like running back and forth or anything? Is that going to be cause any trouble? Just curious because she likes to dart, you know her.
Well, is she like a lot of little kids when they see puddles?
I'm not sure because she really doesn't like getting wet. So probably not. She'd probably be trying to jump over them though on purpose. You know, like instead of just going around them, she'd probably trying to jump over them. You know, so still having the fun of it.
Okay, if you're gonna do that, go and give me an acrobatics.
Natural one.
Natural.
A 12.
A 12. So as you go, you travel a few miles, and you guys in the cart are kind of watching Pearl kind of hop from dry spot to dry spot, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. At about the 3 mile mark, she goes and she actually trips, and there's a splash, and there's a little bit of mud all over her kimono as she kind of gives you that wet cat look.
Oh no!
And then proceeds to continue to try and jump from spot to spot to spot.
I resist the urge to laugh.
Titus will look forward towards Pearl and say, scouting's changed quite a bit since I was young.
Oh, did you want me to do that? Okay, I'll do that. She'll run off to go scout.
Wow, she's pretty fast all the time. I just got me and my piece of wood here that I'm going to take care of. And I wanted to show you all my piece of wood.
Oh, you found a picture of a piece of wood?
I didn't upload it, but this is as good as it is for now. You notice all the interesting knots and
your screen shut off.
Knots and termite holes and
I love it.
Everything else. I think I might turn it into an instrument eventually. But I'm kind of stroking it and looking at the different holes and such. I don't know if I'm in the front next to Karalee or in the back, but I'm happy with my wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't say we don't make it interesting.
Definitely something. So as you guys are progressing along the path, you start to notice the landscape trying to kind of start to shift a bit as you get closer to the coast. You're now right on the edge of the Mire of Dead Men. South of you as you travel, you can see the bog and the trees, and it's pretty good indication that it is a swamp area. It is quite vast. You spend probably the majority of the rest of the trip right on this outskirts of the marsh as you're going about. If you want to try and look through, no, you're walking through on there. Passive percent. Karalee, your passive is in the really high, right?
It's 21.
You know there's life in the marsh and whatnot. So it's just kind of keeping a wary eye. Every so often, you kind of see a crocodilian type creature crawl off into the water. You see various birds and whatnot about as you continue along the road. What do the rest of you make of it? Titus, you're fairly familiar with swamps, given the fact that knowing Barovia, knowing that there is a ruins of a town that is now completely encased in a swamp and a marsh. So you're kind of familiar with that. It doesn't. Thankfully, this one doesn't look quite as depressing as the area around Berez, but it's not much better either.
And Titus had asked me to scout, so I would be trying to scout. So.
Yep, but given your propensity to avoid water, you would not venture too far into the mire.
Nope.
But and you seeing a couple of these crocodilian creatures, and you notice there's some that are small, and then there's, as you kind of walking through and you look, you think for a moment it's like, that's a log, right? Until you see the eye blink. And you realize the eye is roughly as big as your fist.
So I probably shouldn't jump on that log, huh?
Probably not a good idea.
Earl, I have another log for you over here.
Did they say, Titus, did he say it's in the swamp? I can't remember what we
Didn't have a lot of detail.
Yeah.
He simply mentioned that he'd heard rumor of the lizard folk community taking root here, and the large gathering of them is unusual. Normally, there's only small groups, but the rumor is that this is quite a large group, and that can be quite troublesome.
Yeah, when
Didn't
we were
we
at
have a specific?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, didn't we have a specific town we were going to in this area?
Well, there was Salt Marsh. That's kind of where we're heading. But we had heard a long time ago that there was a in the mire of dead men needed cleansing. We were at Old Moz.
Okay.
I think because she kind of mentioned that.
Okay, so we don't know.
Yeah, there are a lot of stories about the mire of dead men, or in this mire as being a fairly dangerous place with a lot of death on death and a lot of just really kind of dark things that live in the deep parts of the swamp. Based on if Titus sharing the information with you, a lot of knowledge about the swamp has faded over the centuries. So they're really no one's really sure what dwells inside, other than a lot of people tend to avoid it, and and some that do venture in don't come out. So it's definitely one of those places to most travelers avoid, and any adventurers that do want to venture in there, only there's two kinds. There's the really foolhardy ones thinking they'll make a name for themselves, and then there are the smart ones who don't do anything so crazy and feel that taking their chances inside Undermountain is a little bit better than taking their chances in the mire.
Is there a main road through the mire?
No. There was at one point, but it is long since been abandoned. Most travel now stays to the outskirts of the mire. The road you're on now actually kind of stays on that northern outskirts. Every so often there's a bit where there's a bridge that crosses over a small tributary that seems to extend in there, and you do kind of get the indication based on the topography, and Karalee recognizes as you go, there is what appears to be a river that's feeding out, and as you kind of get past a section of the mire, you start to come up on what appears to be a natural formation in the rock, in the topography. Like there's a hill that's been carved out, and running along that from one point where the hill comes down, running along along the path to the west is what appears to be a stone wall that's been fabricated. And about the first third of the following the road, Karalee recognized that this is the large main gate of the city of Saltmarsh. and there's several guards that are there as you come close. It's about late afternoon at this point. Most of the travel has been kind of.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, that's nothing new there. That's okay. This morning, people were trying to send me notifications through my Amazon device back here, and I was just like, "Stop it, stop it!" But anyways, so the majority of the day, once you got through your morning bit and has been navigating around the marsh, so it gives you an idea how big it is just on the outskirts that you've walked through. And then you're kind of coming up onto the city. It's getting to be about late afternoon and dusk. It's not a terribly long distance between Saltmarsh and Leland. So you come up, and there's a couple of guards at the gate, and one of the guards kind of stops you. Says, "State your business, please, sir." And stops, kind of look at Pearl.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. That fur?
Huh? I'm a Tabaxi.
One of the other guards. Yeah, they live in the tropics. They don't normally come out here that much.
I travel all over the place. I take up the tradition of my family. We like to wander.
Oh, okay. Looks over at Titus. State your business, please, sir.
Is that to me?
Yes.
We're traveling, looking for a place to stay for the night. Would you be so kind to allow us in?
Yes, please. These old bones can't handle anything too much for an old elf like me.
What she
Hi.
said.
Hi. Takes a minute to look at Karalee. You look familiar.
Yeah, I've been here before. I kind of helped out a little bit with the smuggling operation.
You're that group.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't see. Are they new friends of yours?
Yeah, we're just a new group trying to figure things out. We actually are down here we heard some rumors about some potential army or something down here, and some troubles in the mire of dead men.
No, things are a bit tense, but you'd probably want to talk to the council for that.
Well, are they? Let's see. What time did you say it was? Scoob? Is it night? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's evening time. He sits there as well. It'd probably best to get some rooms at the Wicker Goat. It's just past the gate here, a ways. Stands aside, kind of waves you all through.
Thank
As
you.
you kind of progress down the path, night kind of falls, and you come up on a couple of buildings. One of them seems kind of lively, and you kind of get the feeling that's probably a tavern. As you dismount and enter in the Wicker Goat, you see the patronage inside the Wicker Goat is a number of city watch, and then there's a number of dwarves, and apparently in one of the tables there is a dwarven drinking contest in the process of handling, and a very boisterous female dwarf sitting there yelling at, come on, can't you hold your mead, you rotten. If you could mine half as well as you drink, we'd be rolling in ore by now. And that is where we're going to take our mid-session break.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if you guys have been enjoying it, please hit that like, that subscribe, and stay tuned. We'll be back in probably about 10-15 minutes. Gonna get up, stretch, grab drinks, and we'll be back in a few. So stand by.
Become inspired by Sirenscape Online Player's massive sound library and weave your tabletop legends by building custom sound sets that bring your immersive world to life. Simply download the app to access the entire Sirenscape archive anytime you need epic sounds. The online player works perfectly alongside any virtual tabletop to bring your players together no matter where they are in the world. Broadcast your custom sound sets in real time with flawless audio quality to give them a game they'll never forget. Get the Sirenscape Online Player today at Sirenscape.com.
And we're back. Alrighty. Hopefully everybody had a good quick break. Get up, stretch, all of those things. If you're just tuning in, this is the party has just traveled from Leland to the city of Saltmarsh. They have just passed through the gate. It's the end of the day, and they have walked into the Wicker Goat, one of the first tavern in that is in the city of Saltmarsh. It's actually directly across from a barracks and jailhouse. So as you step into the Wicker Goat, the people in the tavern are mostly you can kind of tell their demeanor is that of soldiers. Some young, some older, and there's a number of dwarves. There happens to be a pretty good corner in the back where there appears to be some type of drinking contest going on. A female dwarf is currently berating her a couple of the others about if they could mine as well as they could drink. Some kind of challenge or whatnot. And you guys kind of step in and get a lay of the area. You do notice there is there's a human kind of tending the bar, and is kind of watching the dwarves just kind of with a bit of a smirk and a shake of his head as the dwarves are doing their drinking competition. That is how you guys find yourselves stepping in. It's a fairly kind of, it's not dour or depressing. It's actually kind of lively, kind of comical. I mean, it's not like a ruckus place, but there's a subdued kind of enjoyment to the evening.
He's going to pull down his cowl of his hood and make sure he's not seen. Just one eye sticking out on it.
Are there any patrons that are kind of just sitting and talking quietly, or
there are a few groups of people. There's actually a group of a pair of people who are sitting there chatting. They're not dressed like soldiers. They're not dressed like sailors. They're dressed like another kind of traveler with some fairly bright colors in their attire. And they're just kind of sitting there having a conversation. You noticed as you were coming up, parked off to the side was a wagon. Kind of looked like a barrel on wheels.
And you said there's a drinking contest going on?
Yeah. In the back in a corner, there seems to be a fairly large table with about a half a dozen dwarves sitting at it, trying to with a bunch of flagons on the table. As two are sitting there drinking, with that female dwarf egging each one on as they're drinking.
I'm gonna head back there and see if I can join them.
Okay. As you approach, you recognize the female dwarf as right there. It's like as Ministrad. She happens to be a member of the city council, and she is the person in charge of the dwarven contingent that has settled into a nearby mine and are working the mine to try and bring some more wealth to the city. You've had a few brief interactions with her based on your last visit. As she looks at you, Karalee! What brings you back into this neck of the woods?
Well, we're just down here looking to see if there's anything else we can do to help with. We heard there might be some troubles in the area, and we're here to help out. I've got kind of a new group with me. We discovered some other fun stuff that maybe we can talk about later. But for now, it's time to drink, right?
Yeah, here, step right up. She offers you a flagon.
I take it and try to fit in as best I can.
I'm gonna whisper.
Oh yeah, not even to come close to winning, but it's okay.
Titus and say, Titus, I'm gonna go get a room so I can change out of this get up.
Like me to go with you?
No. I just want you to know where I'm at.
Oh, okay. I have a general idea of where you're going to be.
Okay, I'm gonna go and get a room up there, and I'll be back down shortly.
Okay, stay out of trouble.
Always. I'm gonna talk to the bartender about getting a room.
Because there's like, yeah, got a few rooms. Be a 5 silver a night.
All right.
Okay.
That sounds fine to me.
How many rooms? How many rooms you need?
I think just 2. One for the gentlemen, and one for the ladies.
Alrighty. Hand you over a couple of keys. As upstairs, last two doors on the left.
All right, thank you. And I'll make a quick run down to Karalee and just say, "Here's the key to your room, Karalee." I still got my cloak over my face.
I say thank
Last
you.
door to the left. And I'm gonna run up to the second to last door on the left.
Okay.
And knock on the door first.
Okay.
And then open it with the key and look in.
The key doesn't quite work.
Huh? Oh man. Did I get the wrong? Let me try the other door, the one I told Karalee to try.
Click.
Oh. Okay. All right, well, that's no problem. I'm always... Yeah, she knows that I have mucus that comes out of my ears anyway, so it don't matter. So I'm going to go in and start cleaning off the makeup from before from Sophie.
Okay.
And,
While you go up and clean up your disguise and whatever, Titus and Pearl, what are you guys doing as you step in?
I want to just kind of start by slowly meandering around the inn and see if I can hear any conversations that might pique my interest about the area, about the smuggling, or about the mire.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me, since you're actively trying to listen.
Mm-hmm. Don't fail me now. You failed me. 11.
You hear a few conversations. The sound of the dwarves is just a little too loud for you to kind of pick up much on. You hear a few words about about the smuggling ring that was broken up about 6 months ago. A really peculiar house fire at right about the same time. Some conversations about the accusations to one of the city, one of the prominent members of the city, and how he's trying to avoid those accusations. But it's kind of one of those back and forths, like, but he throws such great parties. Yeah, but do you hear the rumors that he funded? And you just bits and pieces.
All right. So the bit about the counselor, can I tell which patron or table that is coming from?
That's coming from a couple of a table with a couple of sailors on it.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell by it's kind of a loose clothing type thing compared to the soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
and compared to a couple of the others that are in the area. But they seem the two people who are dressed like they work in the docks or the shipyard or whatever, or shipyards. They seem a little out of place there, just because this, as you kind of walked up, you noticed that down the way it's quite a ways, a little bit of a ways to the docks, and you kind of imagine that maybe this coming here would not be the closest place to go, but for some reason they're here, so it's like whatever. Knowing in Barovia, there are very few taverns. It's like, you know, and with Barovia being Barovia, it's like, you know, why would I travel to Vallaki if I could stay in the village? You know, it's that kind of thing. Kind of like, that would catch your attention.
Yeah. So I'll walk up and introduce myself. Good evening, lads. How are you doing this fine day?
Doing all right. Just sitting here having something to drink. What about you?
Trying to stay in character.
I'm trying to.
Voice,
okay.
I love that voice. That is awesome.
I do. I really enjoy that. Oh man. Oh. I'm doing just fine. Why you two seem rather far from the water. What brings you here?
Well, yeah, the other bars are a little too busy, so and this one is being one of the oldest in Marsh. We figured we'd come here and sit here, and you know it's always fun watching dwarves drink because you never know what's gonna happen.
I'm dying over here. Yeah, it's still quite a ways to go to have a drink. Is there anything special about this place that brought you here?
Well, guaranteed by the time we walk back, we'll be sober, ready for another drink.
Well,
it's about a half a mile to the dock, so we figured we come here, we have a drink, and then we head back. Plus, it's, like I said, if anything, this is one of the few bars that there are not a lot of bar fights in. A couple that are down there in the center of town. A little too crazy. That and that one place, man, the lobster ale. Let me tell you about this lobster ale. This lobster ale right here is sitting there, and it is just an acquired taste. Now, I sailed all over the place. I sailed with this Tabaxi captain, and she knew how to drink. But it was we come here every so often. I had some of that lobster ale, and I missed my damn boat. It was horrible.
Did I hear that?
Roll a perception.
The Tabaxi captain thing?
Where are you in relation to where Titus is chatting?
I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, so I figured I'd just follow him until I knew what to do.
Then you would have heard this story.
What? Do you know what the Tabaxi captain's name was at all? It wouldn't have happened to be Agate, would it?
Agate. Yeah. I think it might have been her name. I think the first mate called her that once, and she backhanded him.
I could kind of see that. I could.
But yeah, she was an interesting captain. Likes to sail to the western continent. Those people, a lot of stuff there. She was here. She's probably here about a month or so ago. Not due back. She'll probably due back in another couple of months. She tends to frequent come in and out of here.
Thank you.
You seem to know quite a bit about this place. Is there anything you tell me about how society works here and who to maybe talk to or try to avoid?
Well, fishing and trade seem to be the primary things of this port, and so it'd be anything related to those. You're probably good. Like the good captain. She has quite the track record of making sure her shipments get to where they're going without a whole lot of fuss. Now. A couple of them other guys. Now there was a little bit of something I heard about. There was some kind of nefarious things going on. There's nefarious things involved. Some shipments that were had some of their goods stolen. There was a ship
that was brought in. It was a group of adventurers. It's a dragonborn, a couple humans. I think there was even a couple of halflings in that group. One of them, I heard a story about one of them. He was chewing out the smugglers, sitting there making all kinds of ruckus. It was really wild. But you know how sailors talk when they drink. And he sits there and he kind of looks at you and kind of slightly looks down at his cup, and you notice that his cup's empty. His story kind of trails off a little bit.
Oh, do you need a little more a refreshment or something? You maybe a little parched.
Talking a lot kind of makes a man thirsty. So, I mean, what about you? Are you getting a drink? Are you just gonna?
I'd like to just sit and talk with you for a while, if that's all right.
Well, I need another drink first. It's like, and the other person across the table's got their head in their hand. Oh, here he goes again. Oh, it's gonna be a long night. Oh, it's gonna be a long.
I do applaud you, gentlemen, on your ability to plan as you have to come to this place so you could walk back, be sober enough to continue with your festivities. You're quite sharp bunch of fellows.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. The other one says, it's just that one time. It's just that one time I drank too much. It was just that one time. And the other guy just kind of looks at you.
Yes, and you seem to be more the strong, silent type over there.
It's hard to get a word in with this guy when he gets talking. So thankfully his cup's empty, so I got a few minutes I can say something.
He knows the feeling.
And Titus just kind of pauses for a moment, like, I feel what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay though. That's okay.
Yeah. So, nefarious sort. Any unscrupulous fellows that
there were some, but there
area?
were a few people. There's a smuggler in there. One of the council members, real prominent type. One of those high class individuals, the kind of wants his money around just because he's got nothing better to do with his time. He sits there. He was accused of being the backer of this particular smuggling operation. Denies it completely, of course. And for some reason, when the couple of the prisoners that they brought back, when they brought him back and they were in jail and they were about to stand trial, for some strange reason, when it got to be the morning of the trial, they were found dead in their cells. No absolute idea why. But without anyone to corroborate the accusations, the accusations were listed as unfounded, because who is going to sit there and tarnish the reputation of one of the most prominent families in Saltmarsh?
Well, you seem to be at least willing to consider the possibility that this well-to-do gentleman or his counselor might be guilty of something. Would you have a name that might be given?
He sits there, he kind of looks, and he's like, look, Primwater, I'll tell you right now, I've sailed a lot of places. I've seen a lot of... Yeah, Primwater guy. Yeah, you got to watch... And the other one starts talking, and it's like, shush, Ned. Shush. Yeah. Don't get involved with Primwater if you can avoid it. All I'm going to say. Because I've been a lot of places. I've seen a lot of things where really rich, noble types always got something dark they're hiding.
Oh, believe you me, I can personally attest to that. I've seen it myself.
Rich types, got to be careful with them. Yeah, Primwater, but he's a nice guy. He throws us great parties. I remember at this party once, and they had all this fine wines or whatever. It was really good, and the other guys, Ned. You got thrown out of that place because you tried to drink 2 bottles at once. Well, it's really good wine. When you got something really good, I'm like that lobster wine stuff. That lobster wine. Let me tell you about that lobster wine. It's an acquired taste.
But I think your ale might be a little warm. Perhaps you'll get a fresher flagon. It should help. Yes, why don't you go? It looks awfully warm. It's been sitting there for an hour. I'm sure it's stale by now.
Stale? I mean, how can ale go stale?
No, you should know. I mean, you really should know this. I mean, you are a connoisseur, are you not?
Yeah, I've sampled a lot of things and a lot of pieces. Yeah, these are pretty interesting stuff, but I don't know. I mean,
Roll a persuasion.
Okay. Persuasion +5. Come on. 12.
Yeah, but you know what? It's still ale. It's still good. Let me tell you, but you gotta watch out for that lobster ale. Because let me tell you about that lobster ale.
It's strange, is it
For
not?
me, I would think that lobster ale would sound good because it's fish, right? Lobster's kind of like a fish, so that sounds yummy to me. But
Ned kind of looks at you.
You look familiar. I'll tell you something. That lobster ale. Sometimes you just gotta know when not to drink.
that's okay. I don't usually drink ale at all, so not a problem for me.
That's good. That's good.
He sits there, drinks the ale, and then he starts rambling on, kind of just rambling on about various things.
I'll want to lean in and speak more quietly to the one that's not completely hammered. And will ask him if he'd ever heard the name or was familiar with one called Nebazeth.
Oh, ain't heard that one. Is that name of ship?
No, fellow we met. I believe he might have been coming this way. Very finely dressed. Had a caravan with a dark horse. And wore lighter colors. Just very fine, clean shaven.
Finely dressed people aren't to be trusted.
Well, that's a lesson I've had to learn the hard way. Hopefully, I'll remember it.
Can't say I've ever seen or heard anybody that. You sure it's not a ship? Kind of sounds like it might be a ship.
He said it was his name, but could have been the name of the ship. Never can tell.
Yeah, you're right. I thought there was something really else that was kind of strange about that whole smuggler business. Rumor has it that aboard the ship there were a couple of lizard folk. They didn't quite figure out what was going on with why they were there.
Oh. That's interesting. Lizard folk.
Very weird.
I tell you, I heard some strange rumors. Perhaps you have too. Lizard folk taking up root in the mire.
No, I don't know about that, but I mean, it's a swamp. They're lizard folk. I'm sure it's a thing, but there might. I have no idea why. I mean, there've been rumors of some attacks, more frequent attacks along the roads around the mire, but not really sure.
Attacks from lizard folk?
Lizard folk, crocodiles, pollywog. I mean, zombies, all kinds of craziness. But lizard folk do seem to be coming up more often.
And these lizard folk you spoke of earlier, they were associated with the smuggling ring?
No one knows. When the ship was brought in, the lizard folk had left, and no one really understood why. They weren't there. They said they convinced the city guard that they weren't affiliated with these smugglers. They had no idea they were smuggling, and it seemed fairly convincing. So they were let go.
That is strange. Have you heard of any sightings recently of large groups passing through?
Large group? No. Just there have been more frequent sightings of them in the marsh, though. Probably a bit, I think, but I'm not really sure where. It's not really my business. I got to keep busy on the docks for when the next ship comes in. That's how I met Ned here. He got left behind by his last ship, so somebody's got to keep an eye on him till the ship comes back to take him, or he can convince someone to take him aboard his crew on another ship. Let's see.
Yes. Very unfortunate mistake, I'm sure, for his former crew to leave him stranded here.
Between you and me, I'm not sure it was an accident. But could be wrong. Could be when he's out there and can't drink ale. He could be, really good carpenter. I don't know. He's a ship carpenter.
Right. So you were watching the docks pretty regularly. Have there been any other recent shipments that caught your attention?
No. The Sea Ghost was probably the most interesting thing in a while. And that was the ship the smugglers were brought in on. And I've been working the docks for years. That's why I don't trust Primwater. Something about him just doesn't sit right. You can just tell with some people, they just...
Two things. Could you describe to me what this Primwater looks like? And then tell me where he might be so I might be able to avoid him.
He tells you, he gives you a description of Primwater and says good luck avoiding him because he actually happens to have his residence right there on the docks.
Oh.
Talks about how this guy would actually has a window he would stand at and shout orders down to his crews and the dock workers from his residence. So good luck avoiding him.
Well, thank you, sir, and I will be glad to buy you another round for your conversation.
So,
Much appreciated.
While that's going on, I'm just kind of gathering information as I'm drinking with everybody. And I'm asking how the investigation is going and how it went and what happened and stuff like that too.
As you're sitting there in the couple of rounds of the drinking go through, you clearly can make a good show of it. But
I'm not trying to really keep up. I'm not really trying to keep up.
That's fair. So you're just kind of sitting there and,
So Manistrad is the council.
Yeah, she is. She's in charge. You've had a couple of interactions with her when the party came back with the Sea Ghost and the prisoners were there. The lizard folk that were aboard the ship managed. When you guys assaulted the Sea Ghost, the lizard folk kind of weren't involved in the fight, and when you brought the Sea Ghost in, the lizard folk were questioned, but nobody really held them. There was a little bit of distrust, but again, being the council and the authorities seemed like, well, based on your party's evidence and recollection of events, the lizard folk weren't involved, so they were sent about. So there's some question there, but not much. And Minister tells you, it's like, yeah, they were there, and there's some in the hold. There was a bunch of weapons for some reason, but there was nothing to kind of back and forth. There was even an elf they found, a sea elf. She was a captive, and so she was testifying against the smugglers, but after that she went back into the sea. We haven't seen or heard from her, so we're not sure what's going on. And then the strangest thing with those prisoners you guys brought is the day before their trial, where they were going to formally accuse Primwater of being involved in the smuggling, they wound up dead in their cells. Just keeled over, done.
I'd like to act surprised, but I'm not. So he still hasn't been. So I'm guessing then the charges have been dropped.
Yeah, he managed to convince the vote to drop the charges. I mean, you've met the man. You know how his silver tongue works.
Slimy. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, he's slimy.
That's okay. They're not around. They're not around here, so we're all good.
Well, I just wouldn't want to get you in trouble. So.
That kid, that upstart knows that without the mine and the ore, his merchant fleet ain't going much further.
No.
Speaking of which, you're back in town. Are you looking for work?
Yeah, actually, we kind of are. We're back in town for a couple of reasons. I've been going to some other places, seeking, trying to see if there's a bigger connection there. Did run across some interesting things up north. There was this weird carnival. I kind of told a story about Ellery a little bit. Ellery a little bit, and just kind of mention, the books and how there's something bigger afoot, we think, hidden. I'm actually trying to contact the clerk up there and kind of get an idea if he's found anything. But anyway, in the conversation, we kind of were led south here to see if there's maybe something that we could help out with here. We heard rumors of potential, troubles down here. Maybe even an army and further south. Some problems in the mire with some lizard folk, and so we're just here to help out.
There've been a lot more sightings of lizard folk in the mire from what the last council meeting was discussing. It rather dull. They haven't ventured into the city proper, but some of them are complaining on how, caravans heading to Waterdeep and Lilin and some of the other places seem to be having more lizard folk sightings, and a couple of them have been attacked. It's been really weird. They've been robbed, but there hasn't been any real major fatalities. So it's kind of weird. Maybe there's a highwaymen that are set up camp, or could be lizard folk. Some of the description is they're lizard folk that held them up and took their goods and let them go. It's very, very kind of weird, but it's not affecting the mine, so I really don't care.
Well, yeah.
That's
so
personally,
question, we are here to help in whatever way.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Brendan.
There's a chance I could use some help with
Oh,
you and your new companions over there. But if you guys are up for some a little bit of coin on the side,
I'm sure that we could probably figure something out. If it helps you guys out, I'm sure that we could do it.
well, we
But
got a
again-
shaft. We were just starting to the new shaft we were starting, and a couple of me boys were down there and apparently got a little too close to the Underdark proper. And there was a band of Duergar that seemed to attack them. Now, what I could really use is another set of hands that are pretty useful. Now, I remember some of the stories about how useful how last time you were here, the group you were with broke up that smuggling outfit. So I was wondering if maybe you want to take a couple of days and do a little guard duty on this shaft. What do you say?
Well, apparently helping out in mines is our specialty. So we've done that
Really,
before.
you've been in Mines Law lately? Do tell.
Well,
do tell.
When we were up north at hold on, at Squall's Inn, we helped out with the mine that was there, the Fogcrest mine. They were having some problems with this beast. I described the beast because I don't think I ever figured out.
Oh, Brulette. Wow, I hadn't heard one of them in a while. Not since them boys up in Icewind Dale complained about a couple of while back.
Well, they was causing problems and killing some people and knocking down some of the pillars that were protecting the shaft, and so we took care of the problem. And help them out. So
All right, so you're not afraid of the mine shafts.
I'm not. No, I think that I can't speak for my friends 100%, but if we don't know any information about these, I'll tell you what. We are kind of trying to help out with the lizard folk problem. We would be happy to probably help and protect your mine if you would help us with information about some more information, maybe a better location or something more specific with the lizard or the lizard folk in the swamp.
I'd say that's a fair trade. What do you say we shake on it, and then I'll show you in the morning. I'll show you the mine and whatnot, and see what you can do. And she kind of spits in her hand and holds her hand out to you.
I spit in my hand, do the same thing.
All right, bargain be struck. Drink up. And she kind of looks over, and you kind of, as you this conversation, you kind of look over as like the one dwarf. One dwarf is sitting there. He's struggling with his last flagon, the last little bit, and then the one he was drinking against, he is face planted right on the table. His cup is kind of spilled over, and it's kind of washed onto his face as he's sitting there, and you can hear him kind of snoring like he's just done too much.
I'm gonna, with the hand that has the spit on it, I'm gonna try to slide her hand to make sure that you got this, make sure I'm wiping off my hand at the same time.
Go ahead and roll that sleight of hand.
Sure. I'm not sure how good I am. That's what I did. Hey, that's not bad. I got 16 plus 3, so 19.
All right, so yeah, you're as drunk as they are. They don't really notice as you kind of do that and do kind of wipe your hand off. Pearl, what are you doing?
Well, one of the things I would like to do is try to talk to the one drunk guy, like he was talking about the lobster ale, because he mentioned how the other bars were more busy. So
Yeah, they are busy.
Are they always busier, or has it changed recently, or?
Well, some of them like there's that one. There's a couple of them that are pretty big. Looking up names. They're probably the busiest one would be the Snapping Line. They're the ones that got that strange kind of lobster ale that you gotta watch out, because let me tell you about that lobster ale. It is an acquired taste. But the young woman who runs that's pretty busy, given the fact it's right next to the council area and whatnot. It's right there in the center of town where Brimwater and all that damn way frequently. So it gets a little ruckusy and rowdy there, and prices are a little kind of strange. There's a couple other places. They're close to the docks, but they're kind of they get a little rowdy because sailors, when they get out after a long trip, they tend to drink a lot and get a little rowdy, and there's always some poor fool being thrown out a window or thrown off the dock because they couldn't hold it, or they lost some game of dice.
Oh, okay. So it's not then like the anything has changed or anything. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty typical around here for Sheltmarsh from what a few times I've been in and out, whatever. It's just really kind of weird how that lobster ale. I only tell you about that lobster ale. It's an acquired taste. But I was in that lobster ale, and just for some reason, I guess I must have got a bad batch or something, because I had passed out when I woke up. My ship was gone, and the captain was gone, and I'm sure she's going to be quite furious with me. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. And if you see the Tabaxi captain again, say that Pearl says hi and has been looking for her.
Okay. Like I said, she'll probably be back in a couple months. She always seems to be a regular stop for her right now. But
thank you.
If I see her, I'll tell her you did to Pearl, right? To Pearl. Okay.
Pearl. Okay. And she's not expecting him to remember it, but you never know.
you get that vibe from this guy.
Just remember, like I got the red hair and the kimono, so maybe that'll help. I don't know.
I don't remember her wearing a kimono, but she did have some.
No, me.
There was some interesting boots. Yeah, I recognize the. I know the boots. I felt those boots many a time. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she got a mean kick on her. Got a mean kick.
She did always have kind of a temper. She, out of all of the sisters of us, she was always the one that kind of had
Let
a
me tell you
temper.
about something about that captain. I remember there was a guy. He sat there. She had told him specifically, make sure the cargo was tied down, and we got hit in a storm. And at the storm ended, one of the crates was cracked. And oh man, I don't know. I don't think he walked right. I don't think he walked straight for a couple of weeks after she was done with him. But
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe I
yeah,
shouldn't run back into her. I think she might still be mad at me.
yeah. She. Oof. The cleric was the medic on the ship was able to reset the bones, but you know it was he didn't walk right for a while afterwards.
So I need to make sure I keep space. Okay, thank you. It's been a little while since I've seen her.
And it goes back to drinking and rambling on about the lobster ale.
And kind of wanders back over to Titus, like maybe I shouldn't be looking for my sister.
Oh, it's been a day.
So I make sure I find out where to meet or where to go for the.
Yeah, she'll tell you. She'll pick you up. She tells you where the mine is. It says come there in the morning when she's
Right.
there.
and I
Be
go
there in
to
the morning. She'll be there in the morning, and the dwarves keep drinking.
And I'll
You
take
kind of
my
wonder,
leave
it's like, wait a
first.
minute, they're gonna drink all night. How is she gonna be up early in the morning? But
He's a dwarf. I will take my leave and go, and I'll say I'll go meet with my party, and I'll give you a thumbs up from over there. So
all right, deal's a
kind
deal.
of over there, and I'm looking around and say, has Nin made it back downstairs yet? Titus, bro,
Yeah.
have you seen him? yet?
That's where
No,
we're
I
coming
was
to
talking to
next.
that guy over here.
Nin
That guy-
Nin would have come. Nin would have. So Nin, what did you do when you finally figured out the right room to go in and start cleaning up your outfit?
I got my makeup off and all that kind of thing, and put on a new piece of disguise, like a scar underneath my eye, and different color hair, maybe made it darker and all that. And he's gonna come down, still wrapped in his cloak, come down into the common room and look around and see who's there. Is there anybody? Didn't you say there were two guys with brightly colored?
Yep, there are a pair of There are a pair of patrons. A couple of women. They seem to be kind of in pantsuits, trousers or breeches, and shirts. They're kind of loose fitting shirts. But there are a lot of colors. Some of them are fairly bright and vibrant. Looking about, Titus and Pearl would totally recognize this particular style about.
Yeah.
Vistani, possibly.
Yep, pair of women, twins actually, kind of sitting there having a drink and kind of just taking in the ambiance.
Oh, if I see that, then I would definitely try to go talk to them too. Because if she's already heard about one sister, maybe she'll hear about the other one too. So
Uh-huh.
she'll go and say
Yeah.
hi.
Min is going to come down and kind of find a quiet corner in the bar and sit and observe a little bit.
Okay. So you see, you kind of see that Karalee was sitting there talking with the dwarves, and you saw you saw how the drinking contest was. You saw Titus and Pearl talking to a pair of sailors at a table. You kept hearing references about lobster ale and being acquired taste, and whatnot. And then after a while, you see Karalee leaves the dwarves and goes to talk with Pearl and Titus. Pearl, taking another scan of the room, sees the two Vistani sitting there, and he kind of does that look to Titus, and then kind of starts to make her way over.
All right. I'm going to go over and intercept Pearl and go together with her to the Vistani.
Okay. Come over. You see the two women. Oh, you're a furry one, aren't you?
Uh-huh. I likes my fur.
Man, we ain't seen a furry one in a while, right, sis? Oh yeah, haven't seen one in a while. Yeah,
Wait, you've seen a furry one?
yeah, I've seen a couple of them. Yeah, we totally have. And then the unison's like the unison. They kind of tell you is like, yeah, it's been about 6 months since I last saw one.
6 months?
Isn't that something, Pearl?
Yeah, that is something. I was kind of curious. You wouldn't happen to have one that was someone that likes to play instruments or anything like that?
Instruments? Oh, there was that one a couple years ago at a Festana that liked to play instruments. Oh yeah, I remember her. She was bubbly. Yeah, she was even very bubbly. Yeah. Didn't she?
And where did you
said that was
see
about a
this?
year ago?
Yeah, they tell you it's been about at a Festana they had about a year ago over on the western continent. They saw her.
The Western continent.
Yep.
How far is that from here?
It's about 3 months voyage.
Hi. Do you two take trips like this often?
Oh, we don't take ships. No, we have our Vardo. Our Vardo can go to a lot of places.
A bardo?
Yeah.
What's a bardo?
It's a wagon that we live out of and do trade and do our work out of. We're both seamstresses.
Ah, excellent. I might be wanting your skills. I seem to have cut up one of my pairs of trousers before.
Oh,
I'm a person interested in investing to the dinosaurs that are up by the old Ma.
they both kind of look. They don't quite recognize that name.
Oh no, you wouldn't because it's brand new.
Hmm.
It's halfway between here and Squall's End.
They don't recognize that name either. You get the feeling that they haven't been here very long.
Ah.
You haven't happened to know like where her and her group were planning on traveling throughout the next year or so, or at all?
No, but that particular Festana likes to get together every couple of years. So, been about a year. Yeah. So they'll probably be meeting up, in the next 6 to 8 months. They'll get word on when the next one is. They think that they're not sure where the location is just yet, but this particular Festana kind of rotates around from place to place every
so it might
few years.
be in different places too.
Hmm?
The Festana is also usually in different places too.
Yeah, it rotates from place to place is when they all kind of gather up.
So if I keep asking around, hopefully I might be able to find out when it is.
There's a chance you can get a location on the next Festana where it is. They don't know yet either because it's kind of one of those it'll be decided close to, and somehow they will know where to go and when to meet. So
Yeah. Oh, that was very interesting. Thank you.
So where
if
did
you
you
happen
come
to
from
run in-
before this?
sorry.
So where did you come from before this?
We were visiting this rather strange land. I think they call it. I think it's what do they call it? It's Taldori, I think. I think we were visiting Taldori for a while. Oh yeah, that place. That place is all kinds of weird. Oh, Marquette wasn't that bad. Oh, you're right, Marquette wasn't that bad.
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever heard of those places.
No,
It's in
are
the-
they beyond the Western continent?
A little bit.
You Vistani get around quite a bit, it sounds like.
Yeah, we've been known to roam from place to place. Although we will say it's a little hard to get into Barovia these days.
Oh, really? I've been to Barovia for a short period of time.
Yeah, glad you got out. It's been a little bit rough lately.
Oh, well, let's hope that gets solved somehow.
Yeah,
Why
well,
does
you know, every few dozen years.
What seems to be the problem in Barovia?
They don't go into it. They kind of
Uh-huh.
look. They look. They kind of. They just. They don't. They don't talk about that much more than that.
Titus
all right.
would have followed behind Pearl, seeing the Vistani, and he will, hearing the question from Nin, will just kind of put one arm on his shoulder, being very careful not to get anywhere near the whole gooey neck region.
That's pretty. That's pretty much covered.
And we'll say there's so much wrong with Barovia. It's not one
Okay.
thing that we like to talk about.
Okay, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for your service as my guardian.
And Titus will look through the group to the two Vistani women and will say, well met. I am Titus, Lightbearer, Paladin, born and raised in the land of Barovia. I, too, have escaped, and am glad for it.
Yes, that's good.
What brings you here?
We were wandering. Came in, just got here and figured, you know, stop, check out the local sites, maybe make some trade. We heard there's a particularly interesting shopkeep in this town. Likes to trade in magical items of a sort, and we figured we might try and strike a deal. We're both seamstresses. I tend to work in cloths, and my sister works in leathers, and we've been known to make a few interesting items from time to time.
This shopkeep, would his name be Nebazeth?
At the mention of Nebazet, they both kind of look at each other and then kind of look back. Real quick for Pearl, Titus, and Nin, go and roll perception. And perception or insight, your choice.
Okay.
Oh, insight. Definitely.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, I just got a nat 20.
Thank you, because that 7 was not going to work for me.
That's a nat 20 for a 24 on insight.
Titus, what'd you get?
7.
7? Nin?
Yeah.
I'm an 11.
An 11. Okay. And Nin, were you perception or insight?
I was doing insight.
Okay. Titus, perception or insight?
Insight.
And Pearl with insight.
We're all insight.
Unfortunately, Titus and Nin, when they look at each other, it can't really tell. But Pearl, you kind of get the look. It's definitely kind of one of those things when sisters look at each other. It's almost like there's a whole conversation in that look. And then they both look back. And for Titus and Nin, their next statement seems completely believable, but you're going, Does it go, nope, not Nesbit. Xandaros is the person we're going to look. She's quite the negotiator, from what we understand.
Zeberos.
Xandaros, Xendros.
That's a woman.
Yep.
Can I pull Titus off to the side and tell him, I'm trying to think of a way of doing it nonchalantly, but I'm not exactly sure how.
That would be a sleight of hand, essentially.
I'll distract them for you. So, how do you make how do you make these Varno that you're talking about? And are they pulled by oxen or horses?
Well, we have a couple of draft horses that pull ours. Yes. Pair of mares.
It's
quite
good
handy.
to have the mares paired.
That was a nat 1 on the sleight of hand, by the way. That's what I get for getting a nat 20 first, huh?
Do I get him advantage because I was distracting?
It's the pair of them, and it's like they're engaged with you, but they're also very aware of Pearl and Titus. And when Pearl tries to pull Titus away to mention, they kind of they don't give you an indication that they are aware, but they're aware.
Mm-hmm.
As they tell Nin, it's like, they're typically crafted by the clans. Each clan, when clan members come of a certain age and reputation, they're bestowed a Vardo, and that's what happened with ours. Ours is we helped our father make it.
Did you make the leather? You said you were a leather worker.
Yeah, I tend to tan leather and whatnot of various types. My sister tends to deal with cloths and weaving, and between the pair of us, we can do certain fittings for armor and clothing, fine and functional. And so often we can make kinds that are quite interesting in the sense that they will, give you a wide variety of outfit options.
Excellent. Before I started the dinosaur business, I was an entertainer, and my one outfit has a seam that is broken or that is torn. Do you think you could help me fix that?
For a price.
Oh, I also forgot. The Xanderos, are you going to buy or to sell?
It depends on what she has and what she needs.
I was wondering if you might show us a preview of your items.
Oh.
Maybe something small for the table.
No. We prefer not to.
Yeah, it's okay. I understand.
But we'll be around for a few days if you want to see about getting that repair done. Hopefully they're not the pants you're wearing now.
No. This is the second pair of trousers underneath my cloak.
Hmm.
Do you stay in the hotel or the inn here, or are you staying in your bardo?
Oh, we'll probably be staying in the Bardo. It's safer.
Do you sometimes trap your bardo?
They both. One of them kind of raises her eyebrow. The other one kind of tilts her head. It's like, would you trap your house?
Only if I had something valuable in it.
Oh. That's entirely a good prerogative.
Yes.
Now, as they talk, when certain things like this, they're bouncing each other's words. It's like one says one word, one says the other, or they finish each other's sentences. You can tell this is a fairly in sync pair.
Interesting.
So while all that's going on, Pearl tells me that the name Zendros was not believable.
Yeah, I would have tried to whisper as quiet as I can to him.
The inclination you get is they recognize the name,
and
they chose not to give any indication that they recognize the name, and
they
that
recognize Nezabeth, right?
But what you gathered was the fact that they recognize that name, but they did not. That was the bit that kind of was believed. That was the main bit of that.
Okay, just that they didn't want to acknowledge that they knew who that was.
Yes.
Okay.
And she'll definitely be like, I've done that with my sisters. I totally know what they were doing there. You know what I mean?
Is there an empty seat at the table?
Okay. What do you mean?
Is there an empty seat at the table where these two Vistani are sitting?
No, it's just the two of them sitting there watching the crowd and talking to the three of you.
Okay.
And but at this point, though, with the conversation with Nin, as that last exchange was, the two of them stand up and it's like, well, we bid you good night, and they both exit the bar.
Good night.
And as they kind of go, as they get to the door, one opens the door and the other one kind of looks at y'all, specifically keeping an eye on Nin as they walk, and then they both walk out.
Nin should write a book on how to upset people in a bar.
I'll look at Titus and like, do you think there would be a way to get more information from them, like tracking them? You know, I can.
You guys want to sneak up on those two?
Okay. We should really talk with Karalee before we go any further. I'm not so sure that venturing out and trying to track people we've only just met at this time would be wise, and we have so very little to go on.
Very true.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd ask.
That's true.
So as soon as they're done talking and I kind of see them done and they're just by themselves, I'll go over to them and the three of them, and I'll say, hey, I got some information, or at least a potential lead. Do you see the dwarves over there? And I point to the corner that I was talking to. That one there is on the council. Her name is Manistrad, and she said she would look into finding information about maybe some more information about the whereabouts of the lizard folk and where we could at least start looking. But in order to help kind of a quid pro quo situation, I offered her our services to help protect a mine shaft that she's in charge of against a potential Drugar.
More mine shafts.
Yeah, I figured that it's right up our alley. So, or right down
we're
mine
expert.
shaft, whatever. Anyway, so I figured that we could help out. It's up to you guys. I told her I'd give her a yes or no if you guys are okay with it.
You seem to know the area well enough and the players to impress with. So I would be willing to go along with this.
Well, apparently the town councilman that I know is a smuggler and in charge of that organization. His name is Primwater. He got off the hook because two of the witnesses that I brought in mysteriously disappeared. Or died, I should say, mysteriously died right before they could say their piece and testify against him. So
We heard too.
I need to regroup on that one. But I figure if we can stay on her good side, and then maybe she can find information for us, that might give us a place to start anyway.
Yeah, we heard the same thing about the whole Primwater thing.
And I would share. I probably wouldn't share it all right here, but whenever we got to our rooms or somewhere more secluded, I would share everything that we'd uncovered, the bits of information about Nebazeth and about Primwater and the Vistani coming here for the selling of goods.
And of course, Pearl would definitely be excitedly telling about how she heard about possibly both of her sisters. Like they really want to know, right?
Oh wow, Pearl, that's great news.
So I don't mind going to at least resting for the night, but I'm going to go tell her that we're in, and she told me where to meet tomorrow, and so I will just go tell her that we're in, and then we can go from there. So I just walk by, kind of give her a thumbs up. We'll meet you wherever you said, and then head back upstairs or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I head to the last door on the left, and I know my key, and I go to put my key in, and I know it doesn't fit. Right, so
it goes in, but it doesn't budge.
Like, what in the world?
Oh, Karalee, I forgot to tell you. We gotta switch keys. I had it backwards or forwards or something like that.
So the
Okay.
question is, do you switch keys or do you just switch
roof.
doors?
I think you'll be going to switch door.
Well, Karalee gets the choice. Karalee is the one holding the key.
Oh, yeah.
He says that, then I just turn and I just go to the next door and I open it and just walk into the room. This
And
works
that's
too.
where we'll end this week's session. For things, everybody goes to bed and wakes up in the morning to go to speak with
Manistrad.
Manistrad and protect see what she needs help with in her mine, and then see what other threads we want to pull on. So thank you everyone for watching us tonight. If you're checking this out live, thank you for sticking around with us. If you're checking this out on as a VOD later and gotten all the way through, you're awesome and amazing, and we really appreciate that. If you enjoyed this content, please be sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe and the bell notification to be notified when future videos come out. Reminder, tomorrow morning, 12 noon Eastern on this channel is going to be Sunday with Scoob, where I work on some minis and chit chat with the cast members if they choose to pop in, or moderators, or just with, as well as with the chat about whatever comes to mind. And Tuesday, of course, is Scuba on the Rye weekly podcast where we talk about games, movies, and all kinds of other shenanigans that come up, including some odds and ends stories. So thank you to my cast for choosing another Saturday night to hang out with us. We will be back next week for another episode of Challenge Accepted. So stay tuned to see what happens in the town of Saltmarsh, and officially starting the Danger at Dunwater segment of the adventure, as well as, let's see, we've had some adventures, so I think we've incurred a milestone. So with a milestone, we will go ahead and level up our characters to their next level.
There's much rejoicing.
So as with this, we will do the hit points right here on stream, and then you guys can decide how you want to level up the character as far as skills and abilities, and we can work out how you will acquire those skills and abilities in our next session. So for the hit die roll, find your hit die, roll your hit die. If it is below half the dice value, then take half. If it's above half that, if it's above that value, take the higher number.
All right.
For example, if your hit die is a D10 and you roll a 4, take a 5. If you roll a 7, take the 7. Sound good?
Yeah.
Rolled a 6.
Nice.
5.
I rolled a 1.
So what's your hit die, Nan?
It's 6, so I get 3.
Yep. Pearl?
I rolled a 1 too.
What's your hit die?
It's an 8.
So you get a 4. So alrighty.
Sure. Oh, well.
Marcus. Alrighty. So what level are we now?
Level 5.
5.
Level 5. Woo woo.
Yeah.
Things are
That's
going to get
what I
interesting.
think.
I don't get anything super special. I get Stunning Strike. But other than that, I don't have to pick anything.
I think I can learn Fireball.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no.
First, he has to learn Fireball, but he can't use it until he learns Fireball.
Let's hope it takes him a
So
while
we're trying
to
to
learn
keep
it.
this organic. You're not just going to wake up knowing the stuff. Unless there's a means to do that. You will have to find a way to learn it, which we can discuss in our next episode.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to figure that out.
Cool.
So with that, again, thank you to my moderators in the chat. You guys are awesome and amazing for keeping things on track. And thank everyone in the chat for hanging out with us. Again, if we hit that 100 subscriber point, we will start doing giveaways during streams. I have a stack of stuff to give away. So please share this out on the social media, feed the YouTube algorithm. And unless there is anything else, we will see you on our next stream. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.